Hi, welcome to Jade Kind Gaming. I'm Adam. Today we're going to do the second installment of the fantasy world building. And today we will be assembling a ship. So get right there. For a ship, I think I want to do the square grid again. Maybe a couple sheets of that. Maybe a couple. I don't know. One for now. Yeah, as I said last time, the graph paper I use quite large, just because it was what was on sale when I got it. So for assembling a ship, I have the note: make a ship that could be a traveling base of operations, multiple levels, and indoor and outdoor. So let's see. We go ahead and assume these are five. If we go back and we'll use this in the same sort of scale, prepping for it to be like a combat board. We'll use them as 5-foot squares. And I'm not going to do any people for this because I think I'm going to like who the crew would be, because as I said, I think as a base of operations, this would be for the kind of campaign where the players themselves buy a ship and sort of use that. Probably not going to do huge ship. But not small. Maybe 3 and a partial. First off, I'm going to assume maybe 75 feet across. So I don't know. I don't know ships. I don't know how big boats are. So as far as a boat that would need to be crewed by a small group of people, I mean, I don't know if this is just completely unrealistic, or if this is normal, or if I'm going to make a boat that you'd look at it and be like, that's silly. If you know boats, then make a better boat than I will be. But, and you can always do research if you have players that know boats and are going to be complaining. Alright, so just on one piece of paper, if I do that, alright, I guess they're 4, so 60 feet across. 75, 60, it doesn't matter. We're just going with whatever. So 60 feet across, we can get 4 decks. Which works pretty well. I'm going to start with this one here. Essentially what I'm going to do is have like the bottom deck, which is like storage, and this one's going to be some storage, some quarters. This is probably going to be captain's quarters, map room, and one deck, like in part of the upper deck, like top deck on top. Then this one will actually just have 2 upper raised sections, because that's cool. And the idea is to be more cool than realistic, because I don't know how ships work. Let's see, I'm going to bring that up a bit more. And start going in here. Now I'm going to do it at angles because it's easier. So the top is going to be the front of the boat. Like that. Good enough. So I can kind of copy that over here, because I know this is what's going to be above, and sort of erase this section that I know isn't going to be here. And copy the same thing, so make sure that essentially this is what is above this here. draw this one will close right here, or rather come up. So this will be the top deck here. Need those lines. Likewise, over here, I want to take this in. I'm going to put the door right there. The more I look at it, the more I feel like this is a huge ship. So you might as well, whatever, have on both of these, essentially this section here, and this one here, are staircases. Likewise, here and here, the same staircases. So these go up to these here. I'm going to switch over. I've been using pencil. I'm going to switch over to pen. You might be able to see that a bit better. I'm not sure if I'm going to ink these or not. Like Sharpie ink them. But I will at the very least use pen so you guys can see that. That's a bit better. Sorry about that. That was a bit of a decision what to make, what to use. I'm going to have this section at the front sort of be captain's quarters up to, you know, here. Block that off too. So we have the entrance door here into and then we have on this side it'll be the secure storage, a lot of the big treasure, a lot of the you know, if there's important maps or whatever. And at the same point, probably like a secret door from that even to the secret storage. Gotta have a secret room. Secret rooms are always fun. People love secret rooms. Alright, so outside of what is really a huge room, 5, 10, 20, 40, 45 feet across the long end. I mean, that, you know, huge room. Probably would also be, you know, his, you know, office kind of thing. And then, you know, these are obviously names for things. If, let's say, the players get the ship, you know, not that they would ever, you know, players would ever steal a ship, but it would be like sort of how it would be laid out when they got it. Of course, they can change whatever the rooms are. The secret room would be fun because they don't necessarily know about it at first, and maybe they don't know about it until late into the adventure. And all of a sudden they find this extra room in their ship, and you could then have that populated by whatever treasure that they've just been sitting on the whole time and not known about. So, you know, I'm putting names to them, but that's like what would be if they bought it, if they, like, stole it or found it, you know, abandoned somewhere or however. I guess if they got it new, it would just be empty rooms. Like I'll be leaving it essentially on this drawing, and with that they could, of course, they'd choose themselves. You would just draw the lines for them on their version of the map. So coming back, I want to have more deck coming back. I guess I want to end it. Maybe we could end maybe a little bit further. Yeah. I want to end it where that entire back right there, just like there. And yeah. So this one, like the back will have a much different angle, which makes it much more obvious that it is in fact the back. I don't know if boats are really like that, but this one will be. Right there, yeah. Likewise, let's put it right there. Probably the door's going to be to get in, but ooh, that could be fun if we on this one. So on the back, we enter in the middle, so they're not directly across from each other. Which means I have trouble writing or drawing and talking at the same time. Or thinking, drawing, and talking at the same time. I don't know. I don't think so. More squiggles to show stairs. And likewise on this one we can have two entrances from outside. Put a wall here. Like there. So we have this little entryway right here that goes into the small room. This one here goes into the larger room that's a bit of a weird shape. This room has the entire, you see in the movies that sort of view out the windows out of the back of the ship and it looks all pretty. That's what this room's for. Pretty. And we'll call that the conference room. I may have spelled that wrong. Oh well. The idea being that would be the room where they, the party would meet and make decisions, and they'd have maps laid out on a table in the middle of the room. Decision-making room. I don't know what that one's going to be. That could be extra storage. Storage. Every room that could just be storage. If they're collecting enough stuff, ta-da, need more storage. But so we have both of these sort of top decks. And I guess back here somewhere would be where the wheel would be, since that would control the rudder underneath the bottom, I think. If it has that. Otherwise, I guess, would it control something sails-wise? I guess it would have some sort of rudder, not a propeller, but a rudder, I think is the word. So there would be the you know, the driving post would be in the back here. Let's see, and I want to have I'll split it between these here. But you know, you got your mast there, which would probably go all the way down, but I'm not going to bother with that. And likewise, you'd have one, I'm going to call it right here. And I think two's enough for a ship. I don't know if ships have two, or if they have to have more, or less, or whatever. But this one has two, because good enough. I hope you didn't come here for real shipbuilding. We're building fantasy ship. And let's see. Of course, what we are missing right now is the way to get downstairs. So let's first draw downstairs. On this first one down, I am just going to slightly, so like by 5 feet, move in this back, so it is slowly coming in. So you know, the ship gets a little bit smaller as it goes back. On the front, I'm going to move up, I guess, by 10 feet. So there, it got a little smaller. I'll probably do the same here. So you erase those couple lines. And I'll probably do, yeah, the same amount of shrinkage on this one. So that way, essentially, as it goes deeper into the water, you know, it seems like it would get smaller. That makes sense, right? I mean, boats and stuff, they gotta do that somehow, right? Something about displacement or whatever. I don't know if that tip would end, maybe, or if that shape would change. Oh well. And I think what I want to do is I've established that essentially 3 goes up and down. I want to take it down here, and I want to say that these stairs go down here and down here from what would be, ooh, shoot, that doesn't work. I'll make it work. Anyways, clearly what it does is it comes, you know, so it goes down from there Because I put the door right here, and I used pen. Darn it, that's why I used pencil. But you know what, we'll just say this one has a bit lower hanging, whatever. There's a pathway across here. And this one, essentially, you kind of have to duck. So that door comes right out over top these stairs. Good enough. I don't. Obviously, the ship's not symmetrical, anyways. Can often get upset with people that force symmetry all the time. Because that's just not how things are. So, oh well, I'm not a big fan. If I'd have noticed it, I'd probably move this one over, and that's how I'd do it. But you can do however you want. Good enough, really. Alright, so we enter through down here. And I guess as far as getting down to that bottom, that way, so essentially you can come around and go down here. We'll copy this over here. I don't think you lost much at all. I think it just stopped recording. So yeah, anyways, the stairs there, if it cut that off. So essentially, as I said, this will be primarily quarters. And I suppose the easiest way to do that would be to go like right here. And give a lot of people private quarters. So enough that probably at least every player would be able to have what is private quarters. Because a lot of times, I mean, you know, the players, they'll like that. They'll like being able to store, at least my players, they can jealousy guard, no, this loot's mine. They're not always the biggest, the most sharing of a party, a lot of the time. So this way they'll have a private section. It is their own. At the very least, each person gets a room, 8, and then with that, 9. I very rarely run with more than 9 players. I have ran with 9 players before. It's a mess to keep track of. But we'll just, whatever. Private rooms. Shared bunk room. So, private rooms, and then we have this rack room, and we'll say that's like there's just a bunch of bunks or cots or whatever, or hammocks. Hammocks are fun. All stored, you know, all hung back here, and if they end up hiring a crew, that's just the crew that they hired's room. And we'll say whatever, kitchen, dining. And also, as far as toilets, they're probably whatever buckets that they have in their private rooms or that kind of thing. I'm not going to put a special room for toilets because it's just a bucket on the ship, and I don't want to go into that because it's gross. But yeah, so anyway, so then we have down here, and just this entire bottom room is storage. So that was simple enough. Just to go in our quick overview, you have these top decks, or whatever I'd write it, but steering. I don't know what it's called. Piloting, steering, driving a ship, whatever, would be back here. And you know, the lookout, I'm sure like there's a lookout tower up here, or perhaps that's on the center mast. But yeah, so these are the top decks that are only on the front and back. So then you have the stairs leading down to this sort of top deck here that's also outside. So outside, outside, outside. Then these ones are inside, as well as both of these, obviously. And we have whatever the captain's room, and secure storage is off of the captain's room, and off of the secure storage is a little hidden door with a little front section where, you know, the real impressive stuff can be. You know, if you need toilets in your thing, like I said, you can make them that room. The poop deck. I know. Whatever. But whatever, you know. That can be whatever you need. That's your plot room. That's where you put whatever's needed for the plot. That's why it's blank. I'm just making that up. But then, you know, you have sort of this conference room where you'd have a nice table and all, like, the pretty windows at the back, where the party can meet and make their decisions. You know, because it's designed as, like, a base of operations. Then, you know, it closes down, and you got your normal stairs, and you're careful not to hit your head stairs because of the captain's room. Gee, that's one mean captain. He's just like, hit your head going down to your room. Anyways, you come down here. You have sort of the kitchen dining area just sort of set up in the front here. And private rooms along this quarterback, which leads towards the shared room, like a bunk room. And then stairs down that just lead to a large, mostly open, there'd probably be hooks for things to hang, and racks to hold barrels in place as the ship goes, woo, because it's a boat, and that's what they do. But yeah, it took, so you know, that took maybe 25 minutes, and that's designing a ship that is a base of operations. You know, of course, modify as you would need, and if you know anything about how ships actually work, you can make it where it actually makes sense as a boat. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know. But I do. I always like that, having a base of operations for my players. And a boat's a good one because it moves. That way, you know, if they visit mostly port towns, they always have their base nearby, and I can move them over vast distances. So that's one thing that I find quite fun to do. I'll use boats or, you know, other things. You know, caravans. You know, just having what is sort of a series, you know, which doesn't always work as great, but because obviously they can break apart and go separate ways, but it's something. I like to, you know, in a lot of campaigns, I like to give my players a base. And so that would be a cool ship-based base. So, you know, let me know what ideas you have, or if I got things totally wrong with shipbuilding and you want to help others, you can leave comments. You know, and feel free, I'll try and get this as a PDF as well, and you can feel free to use what I have, modify it, whatever, have fun. So, have a great day. Bye.